Hetzel of Cooking with Mickey. You can check out cookingwithmickeyblog.com. There I write about all kinds of Disney things like food and dining, your favorite restaurants, recipes. And speaking of recipes, today I will be making the Greek salad from the Food and Wine Festival. So let's get started. We've got roughly 2 cups of romaine lettuce that we're going to be chopping up. And you're going to slice this into thin strips so it looks like shredded lettuce. And you'll want to make sure when you buy this that you pre-wash it. You don't want dirty lettuce. And when I wash mine, I go ahead and pull the leaves off, as you can see. That way, you make sure you get all of them nice and clean, and they're so much easier to cut than if it's all still one section. And our last little bit. Now when you do go ahead and pull that apart, you'll be able to tell if you have any bad leaves in there. Sometimes, you know, the leaves are brown and things like that, and that way you get the freshest of leaves. That's about 2 cups of lettuce. And next we're going to slice red onion. This recipe calls for 1 red onion, and you want to slice it so you have nice thin rings. And it calls for 1 onion. Depending on the size you get, some onions are really big and you can just use half that onion, save the other for something else. And if you don't like red onion, you can always switch it out with something that's a little bit milder. Maybe you like a Vidalia onion because it's nice and sweet. Okay, I think that's good. Next is our cucumber. It calls for 1 cucumber that has been peeled, and then you're going to cut it into 1/2 inch cubes. And I find the easiest way to do that is to just cut it in half, then cut it in half again. And then you can just line them up like this. Makes it a lot faster. Whenever you're cutting anything, you'll want to make sure ahead of time you sharpen your knife. The last thing you want to do is have a dull knife, press harder through something, and accidentally cut yourself. Also calls for 2 small green peppers. I ended up with a large green pepper, as you can tell, and decided to go with just 1. 2 would have been too much. And one of the easiest ways I have found to cut your green peppers is to take one like this and just slice right down the sides. You cut all 4 sides. You don't have the core with all the seeds. It gets most of that out, and it makes it nice and easy. You end up with the pieces like this. And then just slice them into thin strips. Now, one other option when it comes to the red onion and you're making those rings, if you have a mandolin or some type of slicer like that, feel free to break that out and use it instead. Anything that makes things faster and easier are always good. If you want something a little bit sweeter, feel free to pick up a red, yellow, or orange pepper instead of the green. Also, also makes really pretty presentation too when you switch out ingredients. Okay, there's our green peppers. Also calls for tomatoes, 3 vine ripened tomatoes. And this one's really easy. They're just 1-inch wedges. So I just cut mine into 3s. Quick and easy. Just half it. This one's a little bit bigger, so I'm actually gonna cut it into 4. The next thing we're gonna do is add in 6 ounces of feta cheese. What you might wanna do is go through it with a fork, because sometimes they have huge chunks. You could just break them up. That way somebody doesn't get one big bite of feta cheese. And then toss that in. I think I needed a bigger bowl. 1 cup of Kalamata olives. If you have somebody who really doesn't like them, feel free to just put that on the side and you can add that, let them add it into their salad. And our dressing. Calls for 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. Now this just says to go ahead and just drizzle this on top of your salad. I like to pre-make my salad dressings. That way I can taste it and make sure that the salt and pepper is exactly the way that I want it. Don't have too much, don't have too little, and you can adjust your seasonings as necessary. And 2 teaspoons of oregano. It's a good thing I was short on the first one. A 1/3 cup of olive oil. And salt and pepper to taste. I like a lot of pepper in mine. And just use a whisk. Get those ingredients mixed. A little bit more salt. Gonna add that in. And here's the fun part. Trying to toss all of this together. Drizzle this all over. And this is when you don't want to have any rings or jewelry on. You're gonna be getting your hands dirty. And while you're doing that, you can break apart some of these onions too. Okay. That looks pretty good. Wash my hands. It's time to plate. I always kind of try to make sure I get a little bit of everything. If you think you're getting too much of something, grab a little bit of extra. A little bit more lettuce, a couple olives. And this is the Greek salad from the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. Often they serve this with pita bread. You can buy some at the grocery store. Just toss it in the oven ahead of time. That way it's nice and warm to serve with this. As with this recipe and many others, you can find them at cookingwithmickeyblog.com. And check it out on YouTube if you are catching this from the website instead of on YouTube. You can check out my channel. Cooking with Mickey is the YouTube channel there. I'm also on Facebook at the same name. And on Twitter, you can follow me at CookingWMickey. Until next time, I'm Kristen, and I'll see you real soon.